Capitol Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capitol Subaru, your way on the Parkway.
I'm Rob Wheely, and I'm the CEO of Alloy Wheel Repair Specialists. We're the world's largest provider of wheel refinishing, remanufacturing, and wheel replacement. My dad was a car enthusiast, always working on cars of his own and new projects. That passed down to me, and it still grows with me today. Wheels have become the jewelry of the car. People want their wheels to look nice. We provide basic refinishing of wheels. We have remanufacturing facilities that provide extensive repair. We also have put all of our processes through an independent facility that's accredited. You can find those certifications on our website. We do it all. You bring your wheel to us and we'll figure it out. We strive for not just customer service experience, but customer excellence. We want to wow them so they come back each and every time. All of our technicians are trained and certified. We even have a master training course. It's important to love what you do. It's important to make employees feel a part of the team, and they're seeing the same rewards as you do. That's what helps us accomplish our goal. Everybody's our customer. The retail public, dealerships, body shops, insurance companies, warranty companies. We have a claims department. We're the ones that they call to come in and repair it. So if you find yourself in need of wheel refinishing, wheel repair, wheel replacement, or if you just want to custom color your wheels, give us a call. We'll help you find the right location, or you can go to our website. There's a locator on there to find the location closest to you.
Hello everybody, welcome in to a beautiful day here at virtual Talladega Superspeedway on Ghost Racing Network, where we are getting ready to watch the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series go at it for the second race of the Noble 5 program. Let's get down trackside and get into your pre-race ceremonies. Let's get started here with your race info tonight. We are at Talladega Superspeedway, big 2.65 mile. Going to be a lot of high speeds here, a lot of high banking, a lot of bump drafting. Track temp going to be starting at 103 degrees. Weather outside, nice day, 67 degrees, 38% humidity. Partly cloudy skies and wind at 5 miles an hour. It's the Capitol Auto Talladega 250 for the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Going to be 100 laps around this giant track tonight. 100% fuel, 3 sets of tires for everybody. No fast repairs, open setups, and 3 green-white checkers, which we certainly might see here at a track this big. Getting into your starting lineup, the man that takes the pole tonight, it is going to be Tyler Marble. I believe he got the pole here in the Truck Series earlier in the week, or last week rather. His teammate Jeff Marble starts second, so Team Marble iRacing looking to have a good start here to Talladega. Going back to third, it's going to be Andrew Nieder. Joshua Watson, his outside in fourth. Row 3 is going to be Kyle Oakley and Tracy Powers. 7th, Nicholas Isaacs. 8th, Scott Naslin. 9th is going to be Jacob Musso. 10th, Cody Richardson. Cody Matthews, good qualifying effort. He is going to start 11th tonight. He will have Glenn Grigsby, another independent driver, to his outside in 12th. Scott Glasso, 13th. Johnny McCulchek for No Excuses Racing. He starts 14th. Jerry Isaacson, 15th. Todd Shiro to his outside in 16th. Row 9 is going to be Jared Bundy and Alan Pajari, and row 10 is going to be Joe Musso. Daytona winner, another Super Speedway guy, Danny Gutierrez. Bill Benedict, 21st. Brian Conklin, 22nd. Carl Dotson, 23rd. Sean Kaltenbach, he will be starting 24th for Team Watson Racing. Andrew Kotska, 25th for Mad Sim Racing. It's going to be Dave Sanders to his outside in 26th. Row 14 is going to be Jeffrey Souza and Brett Spade. 29th, Brian Watson. 30th, Ryan Haynes. 31st is going to be Corey Mott. 32nd, Austin Fitzgerald, another Speedway winner. 33rd, Jeff Shutt. And 34th is going to be Brian Curry to round out the field for tonight. Pretty big field, and we're getting ready to go here as we roll into the Tribal. 100 laps. It's going to be a long way to go. It's going to be a good race. Tyler Marble rolling up to that Geico restart zone. Green flag is in the air at Talladega. Pretty good jump here for the two Team Marble iRacing drivers. I look to see them line up as soon as they can. The question now is just a matter of, do they want the bottom or the high side? Jeff Marble is looking to get linked up with the 01, but on the bottom, Andrew Neidhart is already closer to the back bumper of the 48. These guys stay side by side now down the backstretch. That's where the outside's really going to get a big run. We'll see if it's enough to clear. It's not. The 36 of Andrew Neidhart, it's not locked on. Now they do get clear. Can he bring Joshua Watson with him? We got Dyson around further back to pack. That's Jerry Isaacs and Nicholas Isaacs. They both move up to that top line. And now we see Jeff Marble get clear again. He hasn't taken it. Tracy Powers on the other hand, he has taken advantage of that. He has jumped to the low side in front of Tyler Marble. The high side here in the next gen is usually the place to go, and Jeff Marble's going to lead lap 1 around this place. And actually, I had the stats wrong, so I do apologize. Talladega, it's actually not 100 laps tonight. I was thinking of Daytona. It's actually 94 laps because Talladega is a little bit longer. Hopefully, we didn't confuse anybody too bad on that end of the spectrum. Going to be some pit stops. Going to be a little bit of pit strategies. We'll see how that pans out for everybody. But no 3 wide yet here early. Everybody's getting settled in. Going to feel these cars out a little bit. But when this race gets close to the end, you better believe these guys are going to go for it. The fuel window is going to be looking around 36 to 40 laps. See how these guys break it up. Let's say most of these guys can run 40. They're still not going to be able to make it on just one stop, so they're going to have to pit at least twice. The question is, what will those differing strategies be when they run it twice? So don't think anybody's going to be able to go that 47 and 47 split. But up front, Jeff Marble, Joshua Watson, and Scott Naisland, they're starting to pull away a little bit here on the top lane, not from the pack, but from that inside line. Cody Richardson also tagging along in 4th. But a little bit further back in the pack here, Johnny McCulchuk currently in 16th in the 72. This guy was running a really cool paint scheme last week in the Gravedigger paint scheme this week. He's in the main sponsor for this week's race, and that's Capitol Auto Group. Good looking paint scheme there. He's got Alan Pajari behind him at 18th, Joe Musso 19th. Danny Gutierrez, you guys want to talk about a super speedway racer, somebody to bet on tonight? Look no further than the JBR e-racing team. They were very, very fast during speed weeks to kick off the season. Danny Gutierrez got the win in the Capitol Auto Daytona 250. We'll see if he can go back-to-back on the super speedways here tonight. Brian Conklin, another Team Marble iRacing driver. He currently sits in 21st. Bill Benedict, 22nd. Sean Kaltenbach, 23rd. Carl Dotson, 24th. Andrew Cott's going to the Mad Sim Racing drivers. He is sitting further back right now. Not as close to his teammate Cody Richardson. He sits 25th. Brian Watson up 3 spots from where he started in 26th. Dave Sanders, 27th. Jeffrey Souza, 28th. Brett Spade, 29th. Ryan Haynes, 30th. Austin Fitzgerald, a little off the pace here. Not sure what's going on for Austin here early. Maybe a little bit of an issue, or I'm not sure if he missed the start or what, but you see he is drafted here with Jeff Shutt, another driver running that Capitol Auto Group paint scheme for No Excuses Racing. But yeah, these guys are off the pace. Not sure what happened. Same deal for Brian Curry. And they're going to need a caution here before we get too far into this thing, and they potentially lose a lap. But up front, Jeff Marble still leads Joshua Watson and Cody Richardson, who has now moved up to 3rd, and that's because Scott Naisland has dropped down to the bottom line to see if he can get somewhere, but it's just not really worked out too well yet. Some of the speeds these guys are running is that's what Talladega is most known for. And a lot of these guys were really ready for this race because we just came off a 3 short track stint. We went to Richmond where we saw Cody Richardson get it done. Then we head to Bristol. Andrew Neidhart got the win. Last week we went to Martinsville, which was a lot of cautions, but we did see Joshua Watson get the best of everybody at the end and bring it home for JBR E-Racing. And he's up here leading right now. As you see these guys right now getting to the mid 190s. This is custom setup, so you'll probably see him get a little closer to 200 for now. But let me tell you something. These speeds, they are going to go up as the night goes on, because what you're seeing right now is just guys following in line. Nobody's pushing. When these guys get to pushing, it's going to get wild. I'm telling you, we are going to see guys link up in these next gens. They can push through the corners in these cars. You can't really do that so much in the Xfinity and Truck Series. But in these next, you see it right here, Joshua Watson. That's exactly what he's doing. Ooh, look out the gearbox here of Jeff Marble. He is tandem up down the backstretch. And when you do that, that's when you can really make a lot of time, start to pull a little ground. The best lane, though, to do it is going to be in the middle, right where Jeff Marble is running. So he is out front and feeling good right now. We talked about that track temp at 103. I don't think it's going to cause these guys too many handling issues. But the next gens, You need tires a little bit more on these than the Truck Series, which we were here last Wednesday in. And with that 4-tire stop, or the fuel stop rather, I think we'll be able to see guys take 4 tires if they want to, especially knowing that pit stops are a little quicker here in the Cup Series than some of the trucks. Scott Naslund on the bottom. He's still got Tracy Powers, but boy, these guys, they're just not making any ground right now. You see they continue to fall back here. The 48 of Tyler Marble, who started on the pole, he is back 11 spots from where he started, sitting in 12th. Kyle Oakley in the 17 riding behind him. There's one of the Musso Speed Shop drivers. That is Jacob Musso on the inside of the 95. He has Sean Kaltenbach to his outside. Danny Gutierrez, he sits behind Alan Pajari, who looks like he's running a new paint scheme tonight. Same overall idea with the big gut, but looks like he's got a different color scheme right just behind Todd Shiro and that iRacing Flags 3 car. Nobody's making a move here yet. We're only 8 laps into the 94. Think it's going to, initially it's going to probably turn into a battle. We'll see a bunch of these teams kind of split up. They'll try to get separated on the pit stops. You will see some guys fall out of the pack during those pit stops. And if we do somehow go green for this whole race, which, man, it just doesn't seem very likely, but I guess you never know, then that strategy of pitting early, a little bit on the early side of that window might prevail. But if we get a late caution, you can throw all the strategy out the window. It is going to come to who can push the hardest. Looking back at a couple guys that have been impressing me lately. One of them has been Jared Bundy in the 6 car. Each week, we seem like we have been talking about this guy at some point. Maybe not putting together the complete run that he's been looking for. But we've seen when he wants to be strong, he can. Nicholas Isaacs, we saw him take a week or so off, but he's back out tonight looking fast just as he was before he took the break. We got a little 3 wide here in the middle. That's Danny Gutierrez. He's got to be careful. Not sure if he got split or if he tried to make a move, but he almost got into the door of Todd Shiro, it looked like. And he is stuck in that middle line. Nobody's going to go with him. That's the sucker hole. That's not where you want to be, and he is going to go all the way to the back of the field right now. Does look like the inside was starting to creep back up a little bit here. Danny's still not going to find a spot in line just yet. He's still in the middle. He's going to try to probably hop up behind Scott Glasso. And he's learning from that. You know, I know it seems early. I know he loses position, but I'd rather make that move early. Learn from it now instead of making it late. And he knows, he saw some guys there that maybe he thought was going to go with him, didn't go. He will remember that for later if he's behind one of those guys. Does look like Scott Naslund is starting to make a little bit of ground, and you know why? That's because Tracy Powers starting to get a little more aggressive on the back bumper. Let's ride on board. And there you go. You see Tracy is really pushing on Scott Naslund through 1 and 2. I saw him try to push him a little bit in the corner. It looks like he's going to try to do a little more right here maybe. Sure enough, he is. Each lap that goes by, these guys get a little more comfortable. They had some practice before the race got started, but maybe not with the guys that they're currently working with. Joshua Watson might have noticed that progress because he has started doing the exact same thing on the top line. Maybe with a little more aggressive, and it seems to be paying off even better. Looking at his roll bar, you see he's attached to the back bumper. Jeff Marble backs off in the corner a little bit here. And I will say, I think later as we get on in this race, you're going to see guys really try to get that top line working by the wall. You can run the most speed there, but you play at that risk of guys hooking you in the left rear, and you don't really have as much track to work with. When you're on the top, there's only one way to go down. You can't really save it and go up because there's a wall. We'll see how it pans out. I really like that Jeff Marble didn't try to drag these guys any higher and didn't try to drag them low. He kept them right in the middle. And I don't know if that's the game plan or what, but Cody Richardson and Joshua Watson, they've been looking stout up here in the podium positions, not making a move. Neither has Nicholas Isaacs. In fact, not really many of these guys. Jerry Isaacs, another driver that's impressing me here tonight. He is already up 8 spots from where he started, currently sitting in 7th. But everybody's going to get more comfortable pushing, and eventually somebody's going to get a little too comfortable. And on old tires, that's when I think we're really going to start to see that inside line fade. We saw it at Daytona. We'll see if we see it here tonight. Ooh, Tracy Powers really trying to get it to the back bumper right now. It's Scott Naslund. These guys can do 3-car tandems on the back stretch and on the front stretch straight areas. The question is, who dares to do it? That's the fastest you're going to be able to go. Let's go back in the field here a little more. Everybody is still pretty much double fouled. Danny Gutierrez has crawled up a couple more positions since he fell. He sits behind Jeffrey Souza, who had been having some issues getting in the race for the start the last couple races, but tonight he did not have that issue. Got out here for the start, so for the first time in a couple weeks, he's excited because he knows he doesn't have to start 5 laps down. He's out here racing with these guys. He's looking pretty good here. Brett Spod in 29th. He is in this lead pack. Looks like the last car in this lead pack is Ryan Haynes in 30th position. Then looking at that track map, they are coming up on the first lap car here of the night. Looks like it is going to be Brian Curry in the 28. Good news for Brian is he is going to be the first one to lap down for now. But he's got to try to stick with the draft here. What lane does he go with? You can really side draft in these next gens. You don't have to do much, but all he's got to do is stay somewhat close to one of those lines. And that should work here as the inside line's going to fly by, but Brian's got no damage. He should be able to tuck on somewhere to this pack. And they're going to go by him 3 wide. Everybody looking pretty clean here. Talladega's plenty wide. Ooh, Andrew Kotska. He washes up just a little bit. Keeps that. Oh, we got some checkups. Can everybody save it? We're going to go 3 wide. Oh, he gets turned. That's Andrew Kotska back into the middle of the pack. Caution's out. This one's going to collect a couple guys. Andrew Kotska gets it back rolling. Looks like Jeffrey Souza is involved as well. First caution of the night. And that came at about the perfect time for Brian Curry. Maybe a little bit earlier, but he is going to get his lap back. Assuming he wasn't involved, actually. I couldn't tell. I think he's all right. But let's take a look here. You saw what looked initially like a stack-up effect somewhere around the 3 of Todd Shiro. And then it just kept getting worse and worse. And, you know, it can only get so bad before these guys are eventually going to wreck. And that's just part of super speedway racing. Here we go. Let's see where this is going to start. Actually, take a look here at TV. Oh, man. This is going to start pretty early on in the corner. We'll look from the chopper view. And watch this stack up. I want you to look at the 51 here. Terry Isaacs, does he maybe get... The 51's going to check up. The 64 is going to check up. And now they're starting to actually make bumper contact. The 3, the 34 get into each other. The 2 of Sean Kaltenbach, he's also going to have to check up. And this is where things start going south because the more people that have to check up, oh, man, and that's the 04. Once he gets into the 2, they really stack up hard. Andrew Kotska, he gets into the back. You see he shoots the 04 of Brian Watson up the track and into the wall. And now they're going to go 3, almost 4 wide. Ooh, Andrew Neidhart and the 47 of Andrew Kotska. They get together. It almost looked like some netcode right there. And then that sends the 36 back up to the 77 of Dave Sanders. Brian Conklin, he is going to spin around. And ooh, the 29 not going to have anywhere to go. He's going to make more contact with the right rear, of Andrew Kotska. Looks like the 96 of Jeffrey Souza got through that without any major damage, at least. Take a different angle of this here. It didn't look like anybody got horrific damage from that. You see some for the 47 there from the checkup. But after that, it was kind of a bunch of innocent spins somehow. Ooh, actually, that's pretty good contact for Dave Sanders there. But overall, everybody else, I think, is going to get away without anything that's going to completely finish their race off. I'm going to show you guys one more thing right here, and that's, watch the netcode here. I don't think these two actually ever made contact. Watch the 36 and the 47. You're going to see he does come up here. And I know from that view it's a little hard to tell, so let's go to the right rear, or the right front, excuse me. We'll do the left rear here. This is of Andrew Kotska. And watch, you're not going to see any, I don't think you're going to see any actual contact here. It was close. I think that might have been some netcode, though, in that case. Hard to say on whether or not he would have hit him, but we won't know because they spun out anyway to draw your first caution of the night. We'll take one more view of this here from Andrew Kotska, from Andrew Kotska's onboard before we go back live and check on your leaders. Going back up front here. Ooh, we got one backing it up. That's Brian Curry on pit road. Not sure if he's still got an issue. Hoping he did get the lucky dog. We'll have that update for you before we get back green. Everybody's going to get grouped back together. This is what those cars that were not in the lead pack needed. Not sure what happened to them off the start, but it doesn't matter because they're back up here now. Jeff Marble has led just about all of them so far. Actually, he has led all of them so far, I believe, as we are 16 of 94 laps completed so far here at Talladega. Second, Cody Richardson. Third, Nicholas Isaacs. Fourth, Jared Bundy. Rounding out the top 5 is going to be Tracy Powers. Go through the rest of your field in just a moment, but excuse me, while these guys are sitting here, let's go take a view or take a look here at some of the announcements that we got, because some of these regard the point situation. And the first thing that we're going to look at here is the points for the No Bull 5 Challenge, sponsored by Capitol Auto. And you see here your leader is Joshua Watson, which has me a little surprised here. I'm looking at something. Or are these are the guys eligible for it. I believe this is how they're set up. It's the best average finish. But we saw Danny Gutierrez. Yeah, you see him in there. He was the winner of the first No Bull 5 race at Daytona. So these are all the guys that are eligible for it. You see all 34 of them right there listed. But not sure if this is the order that they're running in or not. I wouldn't think it was, because like I said, we know that Danny Gutierrez got the one. You would think he'd be leading in points right now, but not sure how these guys formatted it. Either way, everybody's going to still have a pretty equal chance with us only being in race 2 of 5. Moving on from that, let's look at your regular season points. Joshua Watson leads the way, still with a pretty comfortable lead at 315. Jeff Marble second, Tyler Marble third, Austin Fitzgerald fourth, Cody Richardson, he is still hanging around in the top 5. Alan Pajari, been consistent enough in the early part of the season that a couple bad runs has not hurt him at all. He sits 6th. Andrew Neidhart 7th, Carl Dotson 8th, Jacob Musso 9th, and Bill Benedict rounding out the top 10. Looking at the schedule after Talladega here tonight, we head to Dover, the Monster Mile, for 200 laps, then off to Kansas for some wall riding action. Darlington, the Lady in Black, that's going to be a tricky track for all these drivers. I think some guys probably aren't looking forward to that one too much. North Wilkesboro for the All-Star race, then we head back to Charlotte Motor Speedway for the third of the No Bull races. That's going to be a 200 lapper. We'll go to the rest of the races once we get closer to them. All right, so row 1 is going to be Jeff Marble on the outside, Cody Richardson on the inside. Row 2 is going to be Jared Bundy and Nicholas Isaacs. Going back to row 3, it's going to be Jerry Isaacs and Tracy Powers. We'll see that outside line look to be the best on that first one. We'll see what they can do this time. We did have just about everybody come down to the pits there. Not too surprised either, because, I mean, these guys, now they should be good on one stop of fuel. If you would have stayed out, you just would have been hurting your own strategy. But I don't know if anybody decided to take tires yet or not, and if they did, if you wouldn't really think anybody has taken 4 up to this point, but they did have 3 sets if they wanted to use them. Pace car is going to pull off. Jeff Marble led the top line early. We'll see, can he lead it again? Cody Richardson, Nicholas Isaacs, can they get the tandem working? I think everybody this time is going to be looking to try to get up to the top as quick as possible, because that was the dominant lane last time. But it is going to take some solid commitment from a couple guys, maybe a couple teams on the bottom to get it rolling. Green flag is back in the air. Decent restart here from the outside. The inside, on the other hand, not good at all there. All broken up. The outside stacking up. Jeff Marble maybe got a little too far out in front. He's got to watch his outside. This is the 6 of Jared Bundy. Think about making a move. He doesn't. But Jerry Isaacs is going to drop down low here to try to help his Mad Sim Racing teammate Cody Richardson. And that's the teamwork we're talking about. Jeff Marble's going to get a big push here from the 6. The 01 gets clear as well. Does anybody else think about dropping down to the bottom line? And what can Mad Sim Racing do now? You would think teammates have a little better chemistry than everybody else. Glenn Grigsby, he jumps to the top in the middle of the pack. And now he's looking to the outside. Got to be really careful here. Looks like Joshua Watson saw the 6 looking to sneak to the outside. He wanted no party. Drops to the low side with Alan Pajari. Big shot here. The 01 is going to get clear into the triable. Question is, does he go back up? Jeff Marble, we know he's a good pusher. We saw that at Daytona as well. That move from the 6 car made these guys slip up a little bit. Joshua Watson was maybe trying to bring Alan Pajari. He's not clear, so he's going to drop back down to the low side for now. If he wants it, though, he's going to have to jump up. That top line is getting reorganized. Jeff Marble still waiting for that 6 to get to his back bumper. Brian Watson up to 3rd on the outside. Cody Matthews, Sean Kaltenbach behind them, but would you have guessed it that the bottom, after such a bad restart, would have been the place that the leaders would have jumped to? We know Joshua Watson's got the most wins of anybody on the season. Man, that 6 looking really unstable right now on Jeff Marble's bumper. It's right on board. They got to be really careful here. You don't want to get yourself in an accident, especially in the front of the pack. You see he's really giving it to Jeff Marble. He is not scared, and that's what it's going to take. Risk versus reward. How much do you want to risk this early in the race? Remember, there's no stages here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, so these guys, they don't have to really race for too much right now. All they're racing for is track position, assuming another yellow comes out, and as much as you see him pushing, it's just not doing anything. The bottom, Alan Pajari, he is locked up right now. We'll have to watch those engine temps. If he stays locked on for too long, he's going to have to back off eventually. But look at the speed. 197 down the backstretch. The two-car tandem up to 200 entering turn 3. That shows you just how effective it is. And as we zoom out a little bit, look how far off that outside line has fallen. I think we might see some 3 wide or something further back, because these guys are not liking the 2 leading that line right now. They are not making any progress. Just continuing to drag that line back right now. They got to figure it out. Jeff Marble probably wondering what the heck happened. He's saying, I need a push. Help me out here. Up front, it's about a 4-car breakaway. Joshua Watson, Alan Pajari, Cody Richardson, Jerry Isaacs. We noted the 2 Mad Sim Racing teammates. I'm really curious here on if they're going to think about making the move here. If they could both orchestrate it and jump to the high side at the same time, they might be able to make pretty good speed. Cody Matthews, oh, he's going to get put 3 wide. This is where things start to get a little dicey here. Remember, Talladega is wider than Daytona. These guys shouldn't really fear going 3 wide. You know, you can do 4 wide here at Talladega. I have seen it and raced with it, but it's a little harder to do. It's almost the equivalent of going 3 wide, maybe even a little tighter at Daytona. I don't know if we'll see any of that from these guys tonight, but I certainly believe that once we get later on in this race, the lead pack, we will certainly see Dyson 3 wide, 2 wide. Cool thing about the next gens is exactly what we've seen on this restart, and that is that just when you think one line is dominant, all of a sudden it switches. What we saw was the top line being dominant earlier. Could have just been the pushers. Joshua Watson and Jeff Marble were making a lot of ground, but Alan Pajari, he is looking like the guy you want behind you right now in that 34 car. He has been holding Joshua Watson to a comfortable lead. But now the 2 Team Marble iRacing drivers, they have lined up top. And Jeff Marble pushing his teammate. We'll see if that looks a lot better. I mean, already they're making up that ground that they lost in a hurry. Ooh, these 2 are going to have a big run. They are tandem up. The 34 sees that. He's going to jump high. Tyler Marble wants none of it. They're going to try to shuffle Alan Pajari out. Nobody's going to go with him. To the back goes the 34 car. Now he's going to get some help. That's the 2 of Sean Kaltenbach. He is trying to make some friends. He says, Alan, I saw how fast you were up there, buddy. I'll let you in now. Just don't forget about me at the end of the race. The top 2 out of nowhere, Tyler Marble and Jeff Marble get clear, and they are pulling away from the pack. Look at the speed these 2 have. They are going to both get clear the bottom for a moment. Tyler doesn't take it. You see Jeff offsetting to the right just a little bit. He does not want to spin Tyler out. Further back, Jared Bundy. He's out of line, fading a bit here. 3rd car on that top line. Jacob Musso on the bottom in the 95. He's got the 17 of Kyle Oakley. Now we're going to see Scott Naslin look 3 wide. Danny Gutierrez thought about it. Maybe thought twice about it. Everybody's starting to get a little more antsy now that they know it's a more secure one-stop strategy. This is time to get track position. Get ready for that green flag pit stop. And when you come out, it is going to be tighten those belts one more time and get ready to go. The 3rd lane has 2 cars, but they're fading back. You don't want to side draft each other for too long. If Andrew Kotska and Jared Bundy start doing that trend, they might lose the lead pack. We've seen this happen before in these next gens. And when we thought that bottom was dominant, it was because the pushers down there were dominant. Now that Joshua Watson has lost help from Alan Pajari. The 2 up top, the 48 and the 15, they have taken full advantage. They pushed all the way up to the front. A couple guys wanted to get up there with him. Alan Pajari tried to move, didn't work, but he got some help from the 2 of Sean Kaltenbach, and he is still riding around up here. I think they're going to stay up in that middle line, and now if you're on the bottom, what can you do? Can you do anything, or do you have to just tuck in line? We know when these guys pit, they're going to have to drop to the bottom. Jeff Marble still continuing to lay it to the back bumper of his teammate right now. .200, let's see. I think they're going to get a couple more. Sure enough, they are. 203, 204 entering turn 3. That's what we talked about. That's how much more speed. Remember, these guys on the start of this race, when no one was really pushing, they were just kind of sitting behind each other. They're running about 194, 195. Now that they've pushed with only 2 cars, they ran 204 miles an hour entering turn 3. Easily the fastest speeds we're going to see these guys getting all season at any track. But remember, 3 cars, if they really want, they can tandem up on the back, and Alan Pajari looks like he's not scared to do so. And that's why they continue to gap the inside, which is back 10 rows plus now. Joshua Watson, he's got to probably be starting to think about bailing soon. We do see a car trying to sneak to the top side of somebody. Looks like they tucked back in line, but that's another thing as this race goes on. Usually the move is going to come on the top line, so if you're going to defend anything, you want to defend that third line. I think Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble put themselves in a good position to do that right now by running the middle, and if for some reason the bottom does start to get lined up, they could still throw a block there if absolutely needed. Just remind everybody here about fuel strategy if you happen to forget. It's 36 to 40 laps, so these guys probably looking to come in here maybe somewhere around 50, 55. I'm thinking somewhere around 55 to 60. Maybe more towards lap 60, playing it a little more conservative. That way they don't have to worry about it being too close. But they might pit a couple laps earlier than that. We'll have to find out. And I think once you see the leaders come in, you're going to see everybody else start to drag in behind them. We're not even halfway complete here yet at Talladega. The racing stays side by side, so that's what we're going to do as we go side by side. We'll be right back.
Capitol Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capitol Subaru, your way on the Parkway. Capitol Subaru, we value.
Welcome back to Talladega Superspeedway, where we are back under caution. We were side by side, looking like this might have been a single car incident involving Danny Gutierrez. The racing was just heating up too, so it's unfortunate. We saw guys going 3 wide, and they had that third lane rock, and all of a sudden it started to fall apart there towards the end of our commercial break. But let's see what happens here to Danny Gutierrez. Entering the travel, he's got the 29 pushing. Oh, he's going to get a little offset to the right. Oh, turns Danny into the outside wall. That's a big hit. And that could be terminal damage for the 08. Yeah, sure enough it is. He's smoking. That is going to end Danny Gutierrez's day. And man, you hate to see that for Danny. Came out here, got the job done earlier this season at Daytona. Great super speedway racer. Was doing a heck of a job. And you know, I hate to say it, but maybe a little too much aggression here. Carl Dotson early, but at the same time, you got to think about the fact that these guys had fallen back and they were trying to catch that lead pack. So Carl Dotson was doing everything he could here. Catch up. You see right here, he's just going to get a little offset to the right side and just hooks him. Hooks him in that sense. Danny Gutierrez up into that wall. Takes a big, big impact. The front end of that thing destroyed. And with no fast spares here in the FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series, That is what's going to happen. Let's take a couple more shots of it here real quick. Take a ride on board here with Danny, as there was just nothing he could do. Probably caught him off guard as well. He probably wasn't expecting to be spun, but and while it's obviously a very unfortunate break for Danny Gutierrez, the good side of it is that it didn't collect anyone else, because usually when we see a wreck here at Talladega, it collects the whole field. Not the case that time, though. Tyler Marble leading the way. He's got his teammate Jeff Marble behind as they're coming out of pit road. Now they all did decide to pit. And looking at it here, they're still not going to be good on fuel, but I mean, I feel like you got to pit there, because on that one-stop strategy still, it would be a lot less fuel that you would have to take. Remember, 40 laps around the most, maybe one or two more than that, but still don't see these guys be able to make it the rest of the way here. They would run out somewhere in the 70s. Alan Pajari 3rd, Scott Naslin 4th, Joshua Watson 5th, Cody Richardson 6th, Ryan Haynes up 23 positions from where he started in 7th, Sean Kaltenbach 8th, Jerry Isaac from Mad Sim Racing 9th, Brian Curry. Remember when he was down a lap earlier? Well, that didn't take long. He got that back in that first caution. He is up here showing that he has got speed. We might see him in the top 5 soon. Andrew Neidhart 11th, Nicholas Isaacs 12th, Scott Glasso 13th, Jeffrey Souza 14th, Todd Shiro 15th, Brett Spod 16th, Tracy Powers 17th, Johnny McCulchek in the Capitol Auto Group 72 currently sits 18th, Austin Fitzgerald in the 74 19th, Jared Bundy 20th, Brian Watson 21st, Jacob Musso 22nd, Bill Benedict and Jeff Shutt 23rd and 24th, Cody Matthews rounding out the 25th, and the Buc-ee's machine 26th is going to be Kyle Oakley, Joe Musso 27th, Glenn Grigsby, one of the independent drivers, in 28th, Brian Conklin 29th, Danny Gutierrez 30th. Still looks like he's not completely retired from the race just yet. Carl Dotson in 30th. But there he goes. Danny Gutierrez still sitting on pit road. I'd be surprised to see him come back out. But maybe, you know, if it will take a while to get that engine fixed and then all the damage. But if these guys are still racing, he could still come out and help his teammates. We'll have to see what he decides to do. So that moves Andrew Kotska 231st. Dave Sanders, he is off track, and so is Corey Mott. Dave Sanders got damage in the first track. I didn't think it would end his race, but I guess it very well may have. And then Corey Mott in the 1, also off track in 34th. I'll tell you what, looks like we are going to get the one to go signal this time. The 2 Team Marble iRacing drivers going to be lined up on the front row again. See if we can pull a quick word here with Jeff Marble, because he's looked like the best pusher so far all night. Hey Jeff, this is all set up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir, Mr. Austin. How are you?
I'm good, man. Well, you look like you're really fast here early, and especially on the pushing side of the spectrum. Just when I thought the inside started to dominate, you go up top with your teammate Tyler, and you guys were rocking it. Is that the plan the rest of the way?
You better believe it, sir. I got a hell of a pusher. I'm just riding along, man. This thing will push a fucking bulldozer. Oh, sorry for swearing. This thing will push a bulldozer.
All right, well, it certainly looks fast, and the top line looks to be rolling. Do you guys think if you're on the bottom, you can maintain that speed, or is the top kind of the only place to do it at right now?
Well, if there's lots of ears out there, I'm not going to give out any secrets, my man.
All right, well, thanks for talking to us. Good luck.
All right, thank you, sir.
All right, and we certainly do apologize for Jeff's language there, but that is what you get when you get live interviews. The 15, Jeff Marble on the inside. He said he's got a bulldozer. He's ready to push. We'll see what he can do. I'll tell you another guy, though, that looks like they have a bulldozer. That's Alan Pajari. If we get another caution, this might be the next guy we're talking to. The problem is Pajari doesn't have any teammates, so he's got to find who he can find to work with. One of the guys, though, that he could work with is the 22 of Scott Naslin. Hyperforce Esports. I believe that is just that one-man team. See what he can do. Alan Pajari, though, currently up 14 from where he started. And Cody Richardson, one of the short track aces, got it done at Richmond, was very dominant. Looking pretty good for Mad Sim Racing up here. Him and his teammate Jerry Isaac were linked together not too long ago. We'll see if they can get back together. Joshua Watson to his inside and making up. Row 4 is going to be Ryan Haynes and Sean Kaltenbach. Brian Curry, watch for him. He's not too far back as well. All right. 32 of 94 complete so far here at Talladega. We're coming into the restart zone. Watch for the 15 and the 48 to coordinate a restart. I think the 48 is going to get out in front. They're going to migrate up to the top. Green flag is back out. Not the initial case. Now Tyler Marble gets a big jump. The 22 of Scott Naslund. Can he close the gap? No, now we see the 48 jump low. These two are going to stay on the bottom. Jeff wouldn't tell us whether or not he's going to work the bottom of the top. Cody Richardson tried to get to the back bumper of Scott Naslund. He got a little upset early. And now there they go to the top line. The two most dominant cars so far here tonight. I think Joshua Watson's got a lot in the tank too, but he's not been able to find his teammates. JBR E-Racing, if they can get together, I know they'd be fast, but it's kind of been a one-man show for them towards the front, at least for now. I think that will definitely change as the race goes on, and unfortunately one of their drivers, Danny Gutierrez, got retired. Richard Elliott not here tonight. That's not helping their situation much at all. But we got one blinking here on the inside. That's Ryan Haynes. That might scare a couple guys away from it. Now this is a little different here. We saw Alan Pajari pushing Joshua Watson last time on the inside. Now we see Watson pushing Pajari. And so far, fingers crossed, they're making that inside line work. And Team Marble iRacing might be wondering right now what's going on, why they all of a sudden aren't holding the lead, and they're going to get broken up a little bit here. Jeff Marble's going to have to regroup, but they both get clear on the inside. Do they decide to go up? They don't, and now it's just Alan Pajari clear. 201 miles an hour entering turn 3. Now the outside is regrouped. They came back, but once that inside gets figured out, it'll become a battle of when do you time the runs. That would not be shocked if the last lap comes to who has saved their temps a little more and who can link up in tandem for the farthest. Man, Joshua Watson. I think him and Jeff Marble are looking like the two best pushers right now, and all these guys are taking notes. If it's the end of the race and they see either one of those cars around, that's who they're going to try to get in front of. See how this pans out. The 22 of Scott Naslund dipped a little low there for a second. Now he dips up top. Not sure if he's getting a little air. Maybe he's thinking about 3 wide here. We saw some 3 wide during that last run. And now he's going to go. The 22 of Scott Naslund. He jumps high. No one's going to go with him yet, and he is going to fall back. Oh, a little bit of an early move. Now it looks like Nicholas Isaacs, he wants a piece of the action. He jumps up top. And he's going to try to bring that 22 down into that top line, but Scott was trying to get a little aggression here, trying to get these people going, but nobody went with him, and you see what happens when nobody goes with you. He fell 10-plus positions in just a quarter of a lap. Brian Curry behind Andrew Neidhart. That is 12th and 10th. And up front, the bottom still prevailing right now as tires wear. That favors the top a little bit. And now Joshua Watson, I think he finally had to cool off a little bit. He had been pushing and pushing for so long. Cody Richardson, he's going to do that 3-car tandem that we talked about you can try to do. And you see the bottom really fading there, man. Those 2 cars on the top, the Team Marble iRacing drivers, they got clear by about a mile. Cody Richardson's clear as well. Sean Kaltenbach, he's not really pushing right now. There's no need. He's that 4th car in line. His job is just to ride relatively close. Joshua Watson, though, got it cooled down. Looked like he was starting to link up. Got hot again, and he's having to back off. That's the temp struggle. One thing to notice here, we'll show you from the rear chase view. Watch Jeff Marble's right side here, ladies and gentlemen, and the left side even. Especially through the corners here. He pushes his teammate, and then he offsets a little bit to the right. Right there, you see that? You see how the grill pokes out a little bit? A little bit more right there off the turn. Not only is he helping keep his teammate square by doing that, but he's also cooling off that 15 machine without having to come completely off the back bumper. The top line, they've got some momentum. 3 cars up there. Looks like it's Scott Naslund, Nicholas Isaacs, and Scott Glasso. They make up some positions, and they are going to jump right back in line in front of Andrew Neidhart. Will we see a new winner tonight? That's one of the questions I haven't even brought up yet. Chat seems kind of quiet tonight. If anybody that is out there watching, feel free to let me know how everything is going tonight. Sounds, looks, how you're doing. And if you got a pick on who you think is going to win this race. Well, we got one in the wall. That's Scott Glasso. He keeps trying that outside, but I talked about it earlier. There's not many places to go on the outside. You try to kind of hold it to where if you got to go right, you don't hit the wall, but you also ride so close to the wall that there's not much room. Man, those guys are making me nervous. Now we're going to see the middle start to deteriorate, and Jeff Marble and Tyler Marble are going to have to shift up in a hurry. They do. Cody Richardson immediately goes up as well. Ryan Haynes still 3rd on the bottom. This might be what's kind of hurting that bottom line. Ryan Haynes is not really pushing that hard. Not sure if he's just not got the handling for it right now or what, but that 39 is going to have to get a little bit closer. Now we see the 01 of Joshua Watson jump to the top. The Team Marble iRacing drivers, they're going to split him. They want none of it. He's going to wait for help from the 2 of Sean Kaltenbach. They are 3 by 3 as they work their way through the tri-oval. It's complete lap 39 here at Talladega. Andrew Neidhart, Sean Kaltenbach, they arrive on the scene. 2 of the Team Watson Racing drivers, but up front, that 3-wide split, Cody Richardson seems to like to be working with the Team Marvel iRacing drivers right now. Brian Conklin, we have not seen him up here, but he is in this pack, currently sitting in 15th. See in the middle line, he doesn't really have too many areas to go. Johnny McCulchuk just behind him. Jerry Isaacs on the inside. So is the 3 of Todd Shiro. About the 35 of Brett Spott. He's having a pretty good night, sitting currently in 13th position, up 15 from where he started. One of the drivers that's not out here every race, but he made an appearance for the Super Speedway here at Talladega, and he's doing pretty good. Tyler Marble, though, out of Buffalo, New York, continues to lead. Jeff Marble had led the most early on. Things had changed up a bit since then, and now he's become the lead pusher. And now we're going to see 3 wide against Scott Glasso. He is determined to keep doing it. And these guys must really like the way the cars are handling because they're getting risky. We got one up in the wall again. I think that's the 35. Now they're going to go 4 wide. Some contact. They're not going to save it. Down into the 72 of Johnny McCulchuk. Brian Conklin into the inside wall. The 72 still spins. You kind of saw it coming when you saw the 35 get up into the wall. He couldn't save it. Actually, he might have. No, I think he did save it. But then everybody else, they just started. Same thing we saw on the first wreck, honestly. They're just all trying to check up for each other, and eventually somebody misses their checkup or can't check up, and I think they get 4 wide here, and it's just a mess. So you look here. Oh, man, you see it. Well, let's back this up and show you where this initially starts. This is going to start up ahead a bit further. Show you from the blimp cam. Watch the 35, third car on that third line, and he's going to get up into the wall here. See, he gets up into the wall, and now is where it's going to start getting hairy. The 37, they're going to go 4 wide here. The 72, ooh, that's Johnny McCulchuk. He kind of drives up into him. I'm not sure if, gotta assume Johnny maybe thought they were still 3 wide. Obviously nothing intentional, but that's what happens. You get 4 wide. Your spotter doesn't say 4 wide here in iRacing. So you just you don't really know unless you kind of know. There's nothing telling you. And once he gets up into the 37, he gets up into the 35, and then it's on from there. They're going to all start piling up. You see the 72, he's going to get into the outside wall. That's a pretty good hit. The 35, he takes a pretty good hit as well. Brian Conklin, I think he's going to get maybe the worst of this here. He takes a pretty good shot to this inside safer barrier. And Tank Slapper to the right side. Maybe not too bad. It'll be interesting to see who all can recover and come back out from this wreck. A couple more views of it here. Give you one more shot of it here. Brings out your third caution of the night. Not too bad now that we're halfway through at Talladega Superspeedway. We know this place can get crazy, so pretty good on these guys. Now, what is going to get really interesting right here is that fuel window area that we're at. So right now, man, I still don't see these guys being able to make it, so I take that back. Because you see, we're still going to have to run 52 laps. Yeah, these guys, there's no shot they're going to be able to make it, so I take that back. So it's still a one-stopper, but again, you did see just about everybody coming to the pits. At least the guys that expect there to not be another caution to come into the pits. Maybe Jeffrey Souza playing a little strategy here. He stays out in the 96 car. Going to try to get a little extra TV time here, see if he can lead. Be interesting to see what happens. And I'll tell you what, it's Talladega. We like to give everybody that we can an interview. Let's see here if we can find old Jeffrey Souza. Get a quick word with him. Hey Jeff, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Austin. How's it going?
good, man. Well, unless, I'm assuming, are you going back down to the pits here, or are you going to stay out?
No, we're staying out. We're going for track position here.
All right, well, that's what I like to hear, because that's just what I was getting ready to ask you about. You stay out here, take a little risk. We have seen 3 cautions here tonight, but do you feel like that car's fast enough to hold the lead here?
Yeah, I think the car's pretty good. We've been good almost every week. It just haven't been able to make the race on time. So with this being the first no bull race, it's my best opportunity so far this season, I think, to get a win. So we'll get the track position, hope another caution comes out in, 20 laps or so. And then we'll see how we look at the end of the race.
All right, sounds good. Well, things are going to get wild. Make sure you hold that wheel tight, and hopefully you can get this thing done at the end.
Sounds good. Thanks, man.
All right, and that's Jeffrey Souza. We're going to slide him back down to his team here as we do get the 1-to-go signal. And, I kind of figured that, but we always kind of ask these guys because there's been times before where when I think something, it ends up being the total opposite, and then I feel kind of like a little bit of a moron because they correct me. But and it looks like here. And we will be right back. Just give me 1 second. There we go. We had to make sure we got Jeff back to the general right area. I think I tracked him to the wrong channel. But you know who else I just saw up here? And I think they're going to have to get shuffled to the back. But the important factor is that they're back out on track. That's this guy right here, Danny Gutierrez. And since he had to sit on pit road for so long, all the damage on that thing has been repaired. It looks like, at least. We won't 100% know until we see him out there running and see just how fast he can run. But if that is the case, and all the damage has been repaired, he can still get out here and help his teammate Joshua Watson, Brian Watson. And we'll see what happens. Going up to your top 5, Jeffrey Souza. We talked to him. He is going to be leading them to green. The outside is going to be the 01 of Joshua Watson. Row 2 will be Cody Richardson and Tyler Marble. Row 3, Alan Pajari and Scott Glasso. Andrew Neidhart, 7th. Jerry Isaacs, 8th. Nicholas Isaacs, 9th. And Austin Fitzgerald now rounding out the top 10. And Jeff Marble now falling outside the top 10. He's not too far back. I think he's going to be okay, but you got to be careful. We know that one of the things that has ruined the best cars in some of these super speedway races is losing that track position, because when you lose that track position, all of a sudden that's when you can get caught up in an accident, even if it's none of your doing. Certainly hope that's not going to be the case. All right, the pace car rolls off to the left, goes down pit road. Jeffrey Souza, first time leading here tonight at Talladega. What can he do with it? The 01 of Joshua Watson, he's been dominant pushing. He's even led a couple. Does he try to retain the lead here? Triad Racing Enterprises out front for the second of the Noble 5 races. 43 of 94 complete. Green flag is back in the air at Talladega. Pretty good even restart this time. That's what we like to see. Everybody getting lined up. The outside and the inside already bumper to bumper. Who's the better pusher here? We've seen Tyler Marble leading. Haven't really seen what this 48's capable of too much, at least in the sense of pushing, but if it's anything like his teammate, I look to see that 48 get the 01 right to the front, and they don't look back. The 96 and the 46, they are hooked up bumper to bumper, but the 48 and the 01 have already started to pull away from the field. And Jeffrey Souza, he's doing all he can. Let's see how this thing handles here. Oh, man, Cody Richardson. Big moment right there. He had to make a huge correction down into turn 3. He holds on, but, man, that got a little close for a second. But as quick as this inside's fallen back, it's not going to be too long before these guys are going to shuffle Jeffrey Souza out. And that's what you see here from Alan Pajari, Scott Naisland. He is looking to the top. We have seen him be aggressive all night. Sometimes that's the strategy you got to go with here. Just be super aggressive. Ooh, we almost had one tap the wall on the outside. And Jeffrey Souza took the lead. Unfortunately, it wasn't able to last that long. He's trying to keep the track position. Jeff Marble, he wants closer to the front. He's going to jump to that third line. You see these guys keep migrating closer and closer to the top, at least when they're trying to make passes, but the action has certainly picked up. We are almost halfway through this race, and guys, I think it's towards the end already. 6-car single file line here up front. We'll see if they can pull away. Scott Naisland side by side with Sean Kaltenbach. Everybody else still battling it out for position. The thing about these next gens is just how quick you can lose guys in front of you. The main time you'll see that happen is with side drafting, which we haven't seen too much of so far tonight. I will say that. side drafting of these cars is absolutely, it will just take, you feel like you lose 10, 15 miles an hour when you get side drafted. It wants to get you loose up the track. So it'll be a little interesting. Ooh, Scott Naslin got under Jeff Marble there. That got a handful for a second for the 15, but they all hold on yet again. And guess who's leading the inside line, ladies and gentlemen? That's Austin Fitzgerald, Atlanta winner earlier this season. And we talked about it. He knows how to race in super speedways, and he's showing you right now. Atlanta, yes, it is a super speedway, even though it's only a mile and a half. Still a restrictor plate track, and just like that, Sean Kaltenbach has pushed Austin Fitzgerald all the way back up to almost side by side with the leaders. Jeff Marble looking to that third line again. I'm not sure if he's dropping out or if he wants more. I'm thinking maybe he wasn't a fan of the pushing he was getting from Scott Naslin, but if he was trying to make a move, he did fall back. Brian Curry is going to let him in. Jeff kind of forced his way in a little bit more. I don't think Brian really had too much of a choice. Jeffrey Souza fell back a couple spots, but he's recovered nicely here, and this might still work out in his strategy play. Currently sits 13th, but he's about 5th on that inside line, so I think he's okay still. Up top, the 01 of Joshua Watson. He leads in the back of this pack. Take a look at who we got here. Looks like Tracy Powers, Carl Dotson, Andrew Kotska, and Johnny McCulchek. That's the last 4. We do have a second little pack here. It is going to be led by Jacob Musso in the 95, followed by Brett Spade, we saw in that last incident, and Kyle Oakley. Brian Conklin is on track in 30th. Unfortunately, he is by himself. Bill Benedict on the pits. Danny Gutierrez, looks like he has also hopped back off track. Taking a look at your track map there, you can see that. So those guys that are not in the lead pack, and also Brian Conklin as well, they're going to need a caution here, which the way these guys are racing right now, I would certainly not put it out of the question. Be a little curious to see if that three-car group can maybe catch back up to. We see 2 cars trying to migrate to the top. Sean Kaltenbach and Austin Fitzgerald just slammed the door on Andrew Neidhart. Yeah, it's a good thing that that's a teammate that was behind Sean Kaltenbach, because otherwise that may not have ended too well. We see Carl Dotson. Looked like he was, never mind, not Carl Dotson, excuse me, Todd Shiro. He has made his way to the top with Jeff Marble. Jeff really, really wanting to get back to the front. He knows he's got the speed. And that's why we saw guys such as Jeffrey Souza stay out for track position for reasons like this. He knows the more time he spends back here, the more risk he puts himself in. Check up. Got to be careful right here. Does everybody hold on to it this time? Yes, they do. But, man, those checkups have been what caused both wrecks that we've had so far tonight. Well, actually, we've had 3 wrecks, but that's caused 2 out of the 3. Ryan Haynes has fallen back, stuck in that middle line. Glenn Grigsby going to help him out, and now Todd Shiro's going to be the lone wolf out. Remember we talked about weather earlier in the track temp. Well, that track temp's cooled off from 103 to 97. Wind still at 5 miles an hour and not varying in direction. So everybody seems to be okay on grip. Like I said, the only thing that's really been affecting everyone has been when we've had the big checkups. But the racing tonight has been stellar. This is a lot better, to be honest, than what we really saw at Daytona. Daytona, everybody was a lot more conservative until the absolute end. And it didn't matter anyway because the JVR E-Racing drivers were leading and they were dominant. Nobody had anything for them. But tonight, these guys have been going at it. That's why it is the fan favorite track, at least in NASCAR, and it's always referred to as the fastest track. Austin Fitzgerald still dicing around. Looks like he went to the middle with Alan Pajari. Couldn't get anything working, so he left and jumped to the outside. Got to be careful doing that. That is how you make some enemies. 50 of 94 laps completed so far at Talladega. Let's do a FastTrack Sim Racing Cup Series. Crank it up. Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope everybody did enjoy. They're going around the lap car of Bill Benedict. Looking like he's going to stay low here. They go 3 wide. Nobody gets 4 wide. That's probably for the best right now. These guys are going crazy. You see a little overcast here on the track now. But the racing has stayed aggressive even during our Crank It Up segment. Tracy Powers in the middle, 3 wide. Looks like he's got Carl Dotson with him. Nobody's got any give right now. It has been looking like it's all take. Jeffrey Souza with the assist from Cody Richardson. They have gotten back to about even. Cody Richardson does have one of his Mad Sim Racing teammates behind him. That is Jerry Isaacs in the 51 machine. And we saw Jerry with a season best finish at Atlanta, I believe it was. And no surprise to see him out here running good again. Something to note. Oh, and hold on just a second. The 4th Scott Glasso's looking to the outside. We'll see if these guys can pull up in time. Brian Watson saw that. He's going to jump to the top. But that's what that's who I was just going to talk about, was Brian Watson. JBR E-Racing did not quite have their full stable tonight. They were missing Richard Elliott. And then with Danny Gutierrez getting in that wreck earlier and retiring for the day, it's been all up to Joshua Watson and Brian Watson. And now Brian Watson has almost gotten to the back bumper of his JBR E-Racing teammate. The only car separating them is the 48 of Tyler Marble. But if they keep doing this, I'm sure they'll figure out how to get it linked up sooner or later. And we might see that dominance again that we saw at Daytona. Where, of course, Brian Watson pushed Joshua Watson to the win. Gotta wonder if these guys starting to maybe consider that fuel window. They're just about there now. We have hit under 40 laps to go here at Talladega. That's when the fuel window opens from what we think. Brian Conklin falling way back in that 37 machine. You can see, by the way, the guys that are still on the lead lap and not. Just take a look at your scoring tower there on the left. Bill Benedict currently 8 laps down. 17th, Tracy Powers. He's still on the lead lap, so it looks like everybody in 27th on up also still on the lead lap. It's going to be somewhere 29th on back. That might be a lap down, but up front, they're back to 2x2. Saw a lot of disorganization, 3 wide, maybe even a couple little 4 wides for just a second. But everybody's dwindled back down here to 2 here, excuse me. And I think everybody's kind of settling down here maybe for a little bit. That's an indication of pit stops if they continue to just kind of ride around like they are. And if you see some of those guys up top migrating down low, that's the signal. We're going to be getting low because they are going to be coming in either that lap or shortly after. We don't have hands to wave out the windows here like they do in real life, but you do have a microphone to use if you want to use it to let people know when you're pitting. However, a lot of these guys may not. They might try to be sneaky about it. And that's a risk reverse reward scenario. A lot of times you don't want anybody going with you down the pit road because it just develops more chaos. You got a bigger chance of getting in an accident. But the downside of that is if you don't let anybody know that you're planning on pitting, there's a chance that you could get turned from behind. And if you get turned, your race might be all but over. But I'll tell you right now who is probably not the happiest of drivers, and that is Jeff Marble. Has fallen all the way back to 24th in this pack. He tried to get back up there. It just would not work. He's down 22 from where he started. And that's all because he lost just a slight bit of track position. And maybe Jeff is sitting back a little bit now once he realized he just couldn't quite make up any more positions. Didn't want to risk maybe getting in an accident. Figures he'll just play it careful. But now the inside's starting to fade here a little bit again. Scott Naisland has been one of the most aggressive drivers tonight on trying to make it 3 wide. He currently sits on that inside line, just in front of Jared Bundy. Nobody signaling to pit just yet. We are a few laps now, under 40 to go. The pit window was 36 to 40 laps. And this is where you get that split strategy. Do you pit early or do you run it out? That depends on when you think the caution's going to fall. If you think we're going to get another caution, I think if you don't think we're going to get another caution, or you think we're going to get one early, I think you go in as soon as possible, especially if you have 2 other teammates in the field. The thing is, there's not that many teams that have 3 or more drivers really locked up right now. Looking at JBR E-Racing, Joshua Watson and Brian Watson are 1st and 3rd. Looking at Team Marble iRacing, Tyler Marble is 2nd. Jeff Marble's all the way back in the 20s. Mad Sim Racing, Cody Richardson, him and Jerry Isaacs are locked up, but their 3rd teammate, Andrew Kotska, is not with them. And you see the trend I'm getting at here. There's just, you're not going to be able to bring all 3 teammates down here from what it's looking like, so it's going to be guys pitting with guys that aren't on their team, and they're just going to have to make it work. Scott Glasso in the 4-car, one of the guys that's on an independent team, and he's not having too much trouble with that here tonight, but we have seen Scott showing speed throughout the season, so not too much surprise there either. Show you that track map again. You see the second pack has now extended to 4 cars. And it looks like Bill Benedict has tagged onto the back of Kyle Oakley. There's the 35 of Brett Spod, the 95 of Jacob Musso. They are sitting in the back. They have gotten lapped here, I do believe. Yep, sure. Well, actually, no, they have not got lapped now. Excuse me. They are still hanging around. And that's good news then, because you see that although the leaders have pulled away a pretty significant amount, they're not going to be in danger of going a lap down at least anytime soon. I think right now they got to focus on when do they want to pit. They got to pit together, and they're all going to need to execute if they want to continue to not have to worry about going a lap down. After that, though, they're going to need a caution or something to help them out. But up front, Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble. It's been a pretty successful 2-car tandem. Third has been Brian Watson, Scott Glasso 4th, Sean Kaltenbach 5th, Andrew Niedert 6th, Brian Curry 7th, Jeffrey Souza 8th, but Austin Fitzgerald's going to steal that spot, putting Souza to 9th. Cody Richardson 10th, Alan Pajari 11th, Tracy Powers 12th, 13th. Well, those two switch positions. Jerry Isaac up to 12th, Powers down to 13th, Scott Naisland 14th, Jared Bundy 15th, Nicholas Isaac 16th, Carl Dotson 17th, Joe Musso 18th, Cody Matthews 19th, Jeff Shutt 20th. 21st is going to be Glenn Grigsby, 22nd, Andrew Kopska. 23rd is going to be Glenn Grigsby. Those two just switched, excuse me. 23rd, Johnny McCallchuck. 24th, Ryan Haynes. 25th, Jeff Marble. 26th, Todd Shiro. Jacob Musso is 27th, and 28th, 29th, and 30th is going to be Brett Spod, Kyle Oakley, and Brian Conklin. Bill Benedict sitting a lap down with that pack in 31st. Danny Gutierrez, Dave Sanders, and Corey Mott are off track, all with issues. So 3 cars out for what we started with. 34 is not a bad number. Nothing to be ashamed of, that's for sure. That inside line is really faded. This might be a factor of tires starting to slowly wear out. Tires aren't so much an issue here at Talladega, but it can affect the momentum of the line over a long run. Now, these guys aren't going to have to fill it up all the way, especially with the way they're running right now. And because of that, you're not going to be able to take 4 tires. You might be able to take 2, depending on just how much fuel you need. We'll see what everybody decides to do. I think we're pretty much settled down with the racing right now. Everybody's going to stay double file for the most part. But getting ready for the pit stop. That is going to be the money stop. No mistakes here. Don't try to get too much on pit road. You don't want to lock the brakes up and spin. You don't want to get a speeding penalty. Don't miss your box. These cars don't stop quite as quick as the trucks or Xfinity cars. Make sure you got the foot on the brake. Don't slide the tires if you don't have to, especially if you're not planning on taking any. And getting out of the pits, maybe one of the trickiest parts. You're so tempted to slam that throttle, you can't do it. You got to be nice and smooth. Wait till those good years get locked up with the track before you try to really put the pedal to the floor. And then, thankfully, unlike Daytona, the apron here is banked, so these guys shouldn't have too much trouble once they actually get out of pit road. Getting up to speed, that is when we're going to see what is going to be that final pack in the battle for the lead. I think we're probably going to eliminate, if I had to guess, a quarter to a third of these drivers, and that's where we'll test the talent level of everybody. And I'll be extremely impressed if we come out with almost every driver that's still in this pack now, because I just think there's going to be too many mistakes. Guys on varying strategies. We're going to see what happens, but the duo of Josh Watson and Tyler Marble, they still continue to stay high. So no indication of pitting here anytime soon. Jeffrey Souza still leading the bottom. That's where he started on this restart. Fell back a little bit, but Cody Richardson has stayed committed to him. And that's what you like to see. Jerry Isaac staying behind his teammate. No extra pressure from the 51. Then it's Scott Glasso, Jared Bundy. Now one of the Musso boys, looking at who that is. Looks like that's going to be Joe Musso. And I'll tell you what, we've seen Jacob kind of being the star of the show here. But let's give a little shout out tonight to Joe Musso. He is holding it down for the Musso Speed Shop right now in the 93 car. Sitting 16th, up 3 spots from where he started. And I was out on track with these guys on Wednesday. And you know who the 2 most dangerous drivers were in the trucks at Talladega? Joe and Jacob Musso, and I was not surprised by any means. 64 of 94 laps complete here. We're going to go to break. One more side-by-side before we keep it green the rest of the way. However, if I see pit stops, we'll cut the brakes short, and we will be back here. Stick with us.
Capitol Subaru, we value your time. Whether you're here for service or working with our amazing sales team, everything is right here for your convenience. We offer a great selection of Subarus, an industry-leading service center that keeps you moving, and so much more. Like our living green wall, just one of the many features throughout our dealership. Looking for the perfect pet gift? Check out Happy Paws Pet Shop right here in our lobby. Or plan your next adventure in our fireside seating and find your happy place. It's always your time at Capitol Subaru, your way on the Parkway. Capitol Subaru, we...
Back live, Talladega Superspeedway. Still haven't gotten that final pit stop just yet, but we are certainly anticipating it. Just a matter of when at this time. And if you're just tuning in, we thank you for being here on Ghost Racing Network. It's the Capitol Auto Talladega 250, and it's been a fun, exciting race so far. Why it's always one of my favorite places to go for the season. Second of the No Bull 5 races, and right now, Joshua Watson out in good position. The bad news, I just was thinking about this over break. Danny Gutierrez, he did win that first of the No Bull races, and he just probably wanted a solid run here tonight, if nothing else, to keep himself out in front in points. Well, unfortunately, he got just about the opposite, and that was eliminated early. And you see he is going to finish 32nd out of the race. Bill Benedict 8 laps down as well, important to note. Still 2 by 2. The inside starting to crawl back here a little bit. Oh, 3 wide. Scott Glasso with the 34 out of the jar. Big checkups here. Got to be a little careful. Can everybody sort it back out? They do. Saw Scott Glasso. He jumped up to the third line. I think he might have just got loose. Maybe handling starting to become a little of a problem here. Cody Matthews, Carl Dodson, they are in the middle. Johnny McCulchuk on the bottom. Cody Matthews going to jump back up to the top in front of Glenn Grigsby. Scott Naslin up front. You saw him drop to the bottom. There's still 3 wide here. Jeff Rubble's trying to push McCulchuk by. Carl Dodson in the middle, by the way. We've seen that guy show plenty of speed at short tracks. The 1.5 even was fast at Fontana. Haven't seen too much that's been impressive here at the Super Speedway yet, but I think Carl Dodson's one of those guys trying the strategy. I think they're sitting back right now. I think Jeff Rubble, Nicholas Isaacs, a bunch of these guys, even Glenn Grigsby, Ryan Haynes, I think this is a little strategy play here. Tracy Powers even, they realize they just are not going to be able to make it to the front without trying something super aggressive. The next best strategy, just stay back here, conserve a little fuel, maybe even a little tire as well. Don't get yourself in trouble. If for some reason they wreck, you got to assume that you can avoid it by being back there. And then when it's time to pit, you don't have to worry about getting rammed from behind, which I'm telling you, I'm looking to see that potentially be one of the things that happens here. Brian Conklin, he is getting ready to lose another lap here. It looks like field going to go by him in the 37. Joshua Watson pulls the draft. Now he dives low with the 48 and the 04. On the bottom, they've shuffled a couple things here. Jeffrey Souza is no longer the leader on the bottom. It is now Sean Kaltenbach who's in charge. Andrew Nieder at second. Brian Curry third. Jeffrey Souza is back to fourth on the bottom. He's got Cody Richardson and Jerry Isaacs still behind him. And now we'll see what these two on the bottom can do. Those are two of the Team Watson racing drivers. Look at Brian Watson, the JBR E-Racing driver. Good run. Ooh, they might be starting to shift to the bottom, or look like they were. Maybe, I guess not. There's Sean Kaltenbach. Boy, these guys are getting really, really squirrely. It is looking like it is getting close to time for a pit stop. I'm thinking we're going to see some tire changes too. Johnny McCulloch, no, that's Jeff Shutt, excuse me, the other car in the Capitol Auto paint scheme. He's stuck in the middle. They're back to 3 wide here. That top line on old tires is a little sketchy, especially coming off the corner. And we're going to see a pit stop here. It's going to be just Jeffrey Souza. And the reason you're seeing him go in first here is because he did have to, well, he had to pit earlier because he stayed out. Wanted the track position. I think he felt like we were going to see another caution, but we haven't so far here with 23 laps to go. We still might, but the 96 is going to go in. Let's see if he does just fuel here. I'm not seeing anything get propped up. There's the 37 of Brian Conklin. It's a lot of fuel. Hard to tell on whether or not he took tires, but he's sitting on pit road for quite a while. Gets it filled up. He definitely had time for at least 2 tires. Not sure if he took them or not. Oh, the 29. Carl Dotson, they're trying to make a push up top. Austin Fitzgerald and Scott Glass. Oh, the 29's in the wall. Holds onto it because no one else was going by. Man, these guys are really starting to struggle with handling here. And it's not so much the track temp. It continues to cool. It's that these guys are just on old tires, and each lap that they tick off, they just get older. The inside line, though, how about this? Alan Pajari, Sean Kaltenbach, and Andrew Nieder. They have finally managed to get past the power duo of Joshua Watson and Tyler Marble, but Brian Watson says, I'm going to need you to go back up there and push my teammate a little more. He gets right to the back bumper, the 48. Oh, we got a car coming back out. That's Brian Conklin. He's going to get to the high side. Tyler Marble maybe trying to duck low for air. Those guys that are on the top, they're going to have to get to the bottom before they can pit. You got to wonder if that's hindering their strategy right now. Those two are locked up. Man, Sean Kaltenbach, he must be feeling comfy in that Ford Mustang. He's getting to Pajari in the corners, out of the corners, down the straightaway, you name it. 22 laps to go is not a long way. I thought we would have saw more pit stops by now. Everybody is well within the fuel window now. If you pit, you're definitely not taking 4 tires at this point. Maybe still 2 in the question. Nobody, I don't think at least, is going to be able to gamble. Alan Pajari jumped high. Man, he made that move earlier. Nobody went with him. He said, I'll try it again. And yet again, nobody went with him. That's surprising to me, man. The 34s look so fast tonight. If you're Joshua Watson, Tyler Marble, maybe you feel like you already got enough friends up there, but I always like the idea of, if it's not going to completely hurt your race, helping a guy out at these super speedway races, you need to make friends because you're going to need them at the end. But still no pits yet. The outside has made a comeback. They're back to lead. Tyler Marble maybe had to cool a little bit, but he is going to drop low before Joshua Watson gets the chance. And is he dropping low because he wants to lead? Or is he dropping low because he's getting ready to pit? Maybe both. But yeah, these guys are definitely getting ready to pit. I mean, you see that outside line. Not many cars in it. The 4 up front. But you got to think they're getting ready to drop down. Joshua Watson is trying to drag his JBR E-Racing teammate Brian Watson. Those two are locked up. If they can both get down, that would be favorable for their pit strategy. And they both get clear now. They haven't chose to drop down just yet. They may plan on keep running. Jeff Shutt, a couple other guys, they're going to jump to the top. Austin Fitzgerald staying committed to the bottom. Thought maybe he would think about jumping up. And will we see any pit stops this time around? Here we go. Looks like not this time. Tyler Marble really slowed up, though. Maybe not so much him slowing up. It's just the outside is starting to run away with it. Scott Naslin, he's up there as well. Well, he dropped to the bottom. We are now under 20 laps to go. That single file line is pretty long. We have dropped a couple cars off of it now, though. Looks like the last guy in this right now is going to be Nicholas Isaacs in 24th position. So 24-car lead pack right now. Going to dwindle down a little more after the green flag stop. Cody Matthews 23rd, Ryan Haynes 22nd. Carl Dotson 21st, Andrew Kotska in 20th, Todd Shiro 19th. Jeff Marble has moved up a couple spots. He's up to 18th now. Tracy Powers 17th. Joe Musso 16th. Jared Bundy 15th. Johnny McCulloch sits in 14th. Jeff Shutt 13th, up 20. Austin Fitzgerald also up 20. Jerry Isaacs 11th. Cody Richardson last car in the top 10. He's got Andrew Nieder, Brian Curry in front of him, 9th, 8th. Sean Kaltenbach 7th. Alan Pajari 6th. Tyler Marble 5th. Scott Glasso 4th in the 4 car. He's still on that high side. It's going to be Scott Naslin third, Brian Watson second, and Joshua Watson still leading the way. I believe he has now led the most laps here at Talladega, taking over that from Jeff Marble, who led early, switched over to Tyler Marble for a little bit, and now Joshua Watson. I'll tell you what, though, those three, couple of the probably three most powerful guys in the league. Not the three most powerful necessarily. Joshua Watson, certainly maybe considered the most dangerous by everybody right now with the most wins on the season. Didn't take him long to get to 3, but he was not finished after that. And I think he wants a super speedway win here. We saw his teammate get it at Daytona. He did tell us in his interview, though, last week, he said he'd be looking to maybe push a teammate this week. But right now, it's the other way around. His teammate is pushing him. And 17 to go. As long as that inside line is, you got to feel a little surprised to just not see them making really any progress. We are going to now see the 2 JBR E-Racing drivers drop to the bottom, and that is going to strand Naslin and Glasso, 2 of the independent drivers, on the outside by themselves. And if no one's going to go up here, then those 2 are going to have to go to the back of this line, especially with pit stops any lap. Now, will we see him go this time? We might. If not this time, next time, maybe. Who knows? And nothing this time. I thought that might have been it. 24-car train here at Talladega, all riding around the bottom. Will not be the case at the end of this thing. Glenn Grigsby sits 25th. You see he is by himself. Actually, Nicholas Isaacs and Cody Matthews, they fell off the back of this lead pack, which Andrew Kotska is currently at the back of. A little interesting there. So those 2 are by themselves with pit stops coming up. Glenn Grigsby by himself as well in 25th. Kyle Oakley, he drafts with Jacob Musso. That's 26th and 27th. Brett Spod and Jeffrey Souza draft together. Jeffrey is a lap down. Brian Conklin a couple laps down. Bill Benedict multiple laps down. And then everybody else, Danny Gutierrez, Dave Sanders, and Corey Mott, they are all off track. Up front, coming out of turn 4, looking to see him this time. We're going to see him move to the outside here, it looks like. Here we go, pit stops. This is what we've been waiting for. Can everybody get in cleanly? This is going to take a bunch of drivers down. Wow, very nicely executed by everybody in here. That is what we like to see. Clean and collected. Joshua Watson leading them down. And we will see who wins the race off pit road. And now we see the split strategy. Tyler Marble stayed out. Jeff Marble stayed out. Those are 2 Team Marble iRacing drivers. Then you got a bunch of drivers in between, such as Sean Kaltenbach, Andrew Niedert. That's Team Watson Racing. What can they do? Everybody flooring it, getting off pit road. Let's see who's going to win the race out. It is going to go to Joshua Watson second, Cody Richardson and Jerry Isaacs. Brian Watson lost a couple positions, but they all get out okay. Going up front, will we see Tyler Marble think about pitting this time? Ooh, they've split up some more here. And that might be part of the reason they split. Can everybody get in smooth here? We got one guy really sending it in. That looks a little too fast. That was Carl Dotson. I cannot believe the ground the 29 just made up on the entry to pits. But I think he kept it clean, and the second round of pit stops looks just as pretty as the first. And this is that camera view, ladies and gentlemen. It's always my favorite here at Talladega because it's going to show you what is going to become ultimately the race for the win right here. Watch these guys coming out and watch for that lead pack. 13th on back. These guys all leaving pits now. Here they come into the tri-oval. There they are. That's the big pack. The leaders being led by Joshua Watson. How quick can everybody else get up to speed? Nicholas Isaacs still out right now, but Sean Kaltenbach. Oh, these guys have not sorted out yet. They better get it together. Gonna have some issues here, guys. We gotta sort it out. Jeff Marble is not gonna allow, I believe that Scott Naslin to get up. Scott probably not too happy with that. Oh man, he almost spins it too. He holds on, but that's gonna hurt him. Oh man. And I feel for Scott on that one. That's very frustrating as a driver that nobody helped him out and let him up. And hoping here Scott can tag on and hold on to the draft, but I'm not sure. Up top, Joshua Watson and Jerry Isaacs leading the way. Cody Richardson sitting behind his teammates, so if they want to make a move, he's going to get a little help. Joshua Watson, maybe a little bit of a sit and duck right here. He is not bumper to bumper with Brian Watson as they were when they went into the pit stops, but this is it, right? I mean, we've seen everybody. They've all pit now. The only guy we're waiting on is Nicholas Isaacs, which you don't expect, of course, to make it all the way. So your battle, first place right now, what's going to be first place once they finish cycling is going to be Joshua Watson. The gloves are off, though. Everybody is getting ready to race. They're going to start slowly cranking up the intensity. You see a couple packs that are still working on catching these guys, so I don't think we're going to see this be the final pack just yet. You see, it looks like Jeff Marble, Tracy Powers, and Carl Dotson, they're trying to catch this pack. If they can tandem up right away, they'll be fine. They're still close enough to do so. But, man, they got to get locked together. And I'm talking, like, right now, if they wait any longer, it's not going to be enough. And, unfortunately, you see Carl Dotson is not tandem up with these two. And 194 tells me they are not in the draft. They are trying. The gap is at 1.5. But in these next gens, you almost got to run a little closer. We'll see if they can somehow catch. This 95 might act as a little bit of a bridge for them. He is going to lose the pack, but see if he can tag onto that second pack. Jeff right now is probably yelling over the mic, Jacob, get back here with us, man. There's a pack further back here. And these guys are racing. That's Jared Bundy. Looks like Johnny McCulchuk. Scott Nason unfortunately lost that first pack. And it looks like Jeffrey Souza. Jeffrey Souza is still a lap down, so he's not racing for position. Look at the speed difference. 183 compared to up front 194, and that's getting a push. So they're going to get up to about 200, maybe a little more into the turn. But Jerry Isaacs versus Tyler Marble, Sean Kaltenbach versus Joshua Watson. Who's got the better pusher right now? That high side has had the momentum most of the night, but we have seen the bottom charge when they've really committed. That's what you're seeing right here. Tyler Marble's really pushing. But if you think he is just going to happily push Sean Kaltenbach the rest of the way, you can forget about it. They migrate to the top. They know where the momentum is. Joshua Watson, though, he's going to jump an extra lane higher. Now Tyler Marble has to drop low. Everybody's trying to sort it out. Can we do it? We can. Joshua Watson gets the bad end of the stick. He's going to fall to the back of this group. Looks like Tyler Marble is going to fade just a little bit too on the outside, though. Joshua Watson is going to get linked up with his teammates, so maybe this is a blessing in disguise. We are coming to 10 laps to go. The calm before the storm is getting ready to come to an end. 3 wide further back. That's Joshua Watson. Did these two catch? They did. Heck of a job for Jeff Marble and Tracy Powers. They're not quite there yet. Oh, no, I might have spoke too soon. I think I did. They got within distance. They're still closing. It's like they're just hanging in the draft, but it's not quite enough. They got to tandem up again right away. That's why you see Jeff dragging the brake. They do so. Keep an eye on those two, but if you don't include those two, we do have an 11-car lead pack, so we lost way more than I thought we were going to throughout the green flag pit stops. We're only at about half of what we had, which was 24 before that pit stop here. Coming to 9 to go. Single file up top. How about Brian Curry? This guy went a lap down at the start of the race. He has been fighting all day, and here he is. Back up front in second and potentially in the catbird seat for the end of this thing. You know why? Because he is a Team Watson Racing driver, and thinking of that, all 3 Team Watson Racing drivers are lined up. This is the first time we have seen a team have all 3 of their drivers lined up tonight. Andrew Neidhart doesn't look like maybe he's got the fastest lead car. He's got some damage on that left side. But he looks like he's certainly ready to push. And what's going to be interesting is, does Brian Curry just stick with his teammate here to the finish, or does he think about making a move right at the end? You know he won't make one before the tribal because it is his teammate. But how that pans out is going to be interesting. Tyler Marble, he knows that. He is looking for a move right now, and who's going to give him some help? Further back, Scott Glasser looked to the high side of Alan Pajari. Didn't work out. He's going to have to tuck in and push. Here comes the top line. Get some momentum going. Will we start seeing some side drafting soon? Tyler Marble, I look to see him jump to the top. He is waiting for those guys to get a little bit closer. Now he's going to jump. 8 laps to go. They're coming up on a couple lap cars here. Looks like they're going to keep it fine. They do. And all of a sudden, Jeff Marble and Tracy Powers, they fell off big time. They were holding really close. But unfortunately, it looks like their run of trying to get up there is going to end. I'm not sure if they had an issue or what. Maybe if they're dropping, yeah, I'm not sure what happened to those guys, but they are well over 4 seconds back. Joshua Watson gets onto the apron, collects it. We have not had the big one yet. It's still a possibility. We got 11 cars. That's enough to make it happen. Now we see Jerry Isaacs on the bottom. Andrew Neidhart has not connected. Brian Curry's given everything he's got to the 2 of Sean Kaltenbach right now, trying to hold off a charging inside. All Mad Sim Racing drivers, they are now lined up as well. 3 teammates on the bottom, 3 teammates in the middle, 2 independents up top. This is what we were waiting for here at Talladega, and we're getting it right now. 3 wide racing. Sean Kaltenbach, they kind of organized back out. Joshua Watson and Brian Watson, they're going to keep trying, but this time they're going to switch positions. Joshua Watson's going to be the pusher to his teammate Brian Watson and look for those two to try to get up and into that third line. There they go to the middle. They're getting a lot of momentum right here. Brian Curry, he's got to be careful. I know he's pushing his teammate, but if you want to stick with your teammate, you're going to have those temps for the last laps, and as hard as he's pushing, I don't know. Good thing is these are custom setups, of course. Some of these guys run some interesting configurations. I don't think you can run tape on the next gens. I know you can do that in Truck and Xfinity, but so maybe they are still having some heating issues, because I know they do in general. Back to a big single file line, a little bit of a snake draft. Scott Glatzo to the outside, Brian Watson and Joshua Watson. They're going to follow the 4-car. Tyler Marbley's looking back up top. Seems like these runs keep forming, but they're just not really going anywhere. And it kind of takes a minute, but once you get going, the runs are really hard to stop in the next gens. Brian Curry, he's seen that everybody's lined up, and he is cool in those temps right now. He's backed off. He knows he's not going to pass his teammate. No need to push, but now there might be, because here comes that duo on the bottom. JBR E-Racing's Brian Watson side by side now with Andrew Neidhart. Joshua Watson really pushing. And Alan Pajari, Mad Sim Racing, they're all going to follow. We now have a bottom starting to form. Does Tyler Marble jump low? He couldn't do it. Now he's going to be trapped up top with Scott Glatzo for now. These two are still locked on. If Brian Watson gets clear, does he try to jump to the top? Maybe separate this Team Watson Racing group just a little bit. They still continue to push. I'll tell you what, Brian Curry looks smooth as butter right now in the back bumper of his teammate. We'll see how long that lasts. And just as I say that, they get a little separation. That's all the JBR E-Racing is going to need on the bottom. They're trying to get both of them clear so they can hop up. They're going to do it. Does the 01 and the 04 think about going high? Sean Kaltenbach, he's going to start doing that side drafting. And boy, that line just mowed by. All of a sudden, Brian Curry had to let off. And you see just how quick the momentum swung. Alan Pajari, Jerry Isaacs. Do they think about looking to the high side now? Alan Pajari's tried a couple times. Nobody's went with him. 4 to go at Talladega. It's got to be now or never if you want it, and you're sitting to the back of this group. You see further back, just entering the backstretch, Jeff Marble, Tracy Powers, a couple guys that would love for a caution right now. They're going to have, once we hit the line, 2 more laps to get it. There goes Alan Pajari to the high side in the 34. The big guts looking to go to the front. Joshua Watson's going to block. Brian Watson now moves up to the top. And at this point, Joshua Watson's going to get turned into Jerry Isaacs. They slide. Big hit to the back for the 01. No caution because it's off the track. Up front, we're going to stay green. I'm not 100% sure what turned him, but we'll look at it at the end. Right now, we're keeping it up front, and Brian Watson is all by himself. He does have Alan Pajari, but Sean Kaltenbach. Team Watson, what can they make happen right here? If they dive to the low side, they'll be lined up 1, 2, 3. Next lap will be our last chance for a caution. Remember, if we take the white flag, this thing's official now. The 46. Cody Richardson back to the bottom side. They're still sticking middle. Where is Jerry Isaacs? Well, he got collected in that last wreck. You're not going to be able to find him now. Tyler Marble's been staying patient ever since he got stuck back there. But I'm still looking for a move out of this 48 car. It's just a matter of when. The 46, Cody Richardson. He's got another run here. What does he do with it? He's going to try to push a little bit. Now he dives low, looking for a side draft. Scott Glasso's looking to the top. They're going to go 3 wide. Andrew Kotska trying to push his teammate. And those front two are just so locked on right now. I don't think Alan Pajari is going to stick there to the finish. I think, man, it's hard to say. I think if they can do what they're doing right now, I think you're going to see that 48 and the 2 work together on the backstretch of the final lap. And I think you're going to see the 34 try to hold out until the trial of the last lap. That's the best place to do it in these next gens. All you need is to be a little bit further away from the rest of the pack, not by much, a couple car lengths. You pull out, side draft that guy, they are going to have no chance. Brian Watson might have to throw a block, but now we see Alan Pajari. He gets another push. He might be trying to cool that 34 thing off. Now we see the 2 back to the high side. That's the preferred line. These 2 are going to have to drift up. They don't do it yet, but they're waiting to see a block. Sean Kaltenbach backing up to Tyler Marble. Now he goes high. Tyler Marble's going to make his move this time. That's because the white flag is in the air. Back to the high side goes the 2. 3 wide through turns 1 and 2. Now the high side has all the momentum. Brian Watson, Alan Pajari. They're not together. Tyler Marble has the advantage. What does he want to do with Sean Kaltenbach? He's going to stick to his bumper for now. It's a 4-car race. Can anybody else get back into it? Into turn 3 for the final time. These guys, they're out of it. It's going to be a 4-car battle for the finish. Everybody looking to keep it clean. Tyler Marble, no move yet. When does he make it? We're coming into the trial for the final time. Watch for the 48 to dive low. He's going to be a little too late. Now he goes to the inside. He makes the move to the inside and gets the side draft. It's going to be a photo finish at the line, though. Sean Kaltenbach gets it with a push from his teammate, Andrew Niedert. What a race and what a finish. First win of the season for Sean Kaltenbach. So close at Bristol. He gets it done tonight, and his teammate, who, by the way, won that race at Bristol, gave him the winning push, and that is why it is so important to have teammates up here. I think that was my favorite race of the season so far, I have got to tell you. My goodness, if we could have kept a couple more guys up there at the end. Whew. Tyler Marble giving a little congratulatory little shot to the back of Sean Kaltenbach, letting him know, attaboy, good race, good win. Andrew Niedert might do a little burnout here because they finished 1-2. We might see a little double burnout here. Big winner tonight is still Sean Kaltenbach. I believe he does lock himself into the playoffs. Looks like he's going to be the only car to come around here and burn it down. And we will be getting post-race interviews with your top three, so make sure you stick around. Talladega does not disappoint, does it? And we should be going back here in the playoffs, I believe, because they do follow the NASCAR schedule. And I will be waiting for that race. But that was a quick burnout. Thought he'd do a little more than that. But before anything, here's what I want to do. Got to take a look at some of the things that went on here because some wild stuff happened. First of all, let's take a look at the Jerry Isaacs and Joshua Watson crash. I couldn't tell exactly what happened initially. I know the 01 had maybe gotten turned. We see he's washing up a little bit. Oh, he washes up a little bit. The 34 was trying to push him at that exact time. And that spins the 01 of Joshua Watson down, comes across the nose of Jerry Isaacs. And at this point, nothing you can do. You see he's going to lock it down. But that inside wall is just, it's inevitable. You know you're going to hit it. And pretty big shot to the rear end for Joshua Watson there. And 51 of Jerry Isaacs, he's also going to have nowhere to go. I'll give you one more quick look at it here. Ooh, I didn't even notice that second hit. I was going to tear the spoiler off the 51 machine. And then how about the finish? Tell you what, if Sean Kaltenbach did not have a teammate, this would have been a lot closer than it was. But either way, Tyler Marble, I'm telling you what, nothing he did wrong. He timed that move absolutely perfectly. But Andrew Niedert and Brian Curry, I'll tell you what, I didn't even notice that at the time. Brian Curry as well, that is another Team Watson Racing driver. Both of them jumped up top, so poor Tyler Marble. He just had absolutely no shot here. He was in a sea of Team Watson Racing drivers. And right there is going to be the winning push for Sean Kaltenbach. We're going to go get interviews. Stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, and we are here with third place finisher Tyler Marble. Tyler, you got a copy?
Yes, you got me?
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, man. I don't know about as a driver. I absolutely loved that race from up here in the booth. That was insane towards the end. I thought you were going to get him, but you were in a sea of Team Watson Racing drivers. Tell us about your race.
Yeah, teamwork worked out pretty well. Helped keep me up to the front. Unfortunately, oh man, I put on tires when you shouldn't have their last stop. But man, I don't know. I'm out of the lost for words. I'm trying to freaking figure out what the hell happened. I'm racing my beat. I can't talk. My heart's racing so fast those last few laps. Man, I don't know. All I know is that I wasn't left in that last lap, and I know I had his teammates behind me, so I'll make sure I got to make this first move before I get screwed. And then I went to the bottom thinking he wasn't gonna give me the top, so like, all right, I'm gonna have to go to the bottom here. Hope it's a big enough run. Just wasn't meant to be.
Well, either way, you bring home a podium with no teammates there at the end. So congrats on the finish. Before we let you go, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Yeah, I'd like to thank Jeff Shutt and the Capitol Auto for sponsoring our Noble races. Our next one's at Charlotte next month. I'm looking forward to that. Thank you for broadcast. Once again, you do an awesome job. Alloy Wood Repair Specialist out of Richmond. Sim Racer Hub, Butt Kicker, iRacing iFlag, Fast Eddies. Thank you guys, everybody, for coming on board with us, and great league that we have here. Looking forward to Dover next week.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for talking to us, and congrats on the third place finish.
Thank you.
And now we will pull in second place finisher, and that's Andrew Nieder. Andrew, you got a copy?
I sure do.
All right, well, Team Watson Racing finishes 1-2, almost 1-2-3. That was insane watching you guys all three link up and get Sean the win. How'd you do it coming to the end?
We, well, thanks again to Sean. He's been doing great on the setup builds, especially for Talladega. He's a good plate racer. I said at the beginning of this race, you know, it's going to come down to just us three being, you know, linked up and working together really well. And after we saw Josh spin, I knew we had to just get linked up and stay to the top, and that's what we did.
Well, not only do you have a win on the season now, but so does your teammate, thanks to the push from you. So congratulations on that. Before we let you go, is there anything you want to thank or shout out tonight?
Just again, thanks to Sean for the good build. Thanks to the teammates, Brian. Couldn't have done it without him. It was great teamwork tonight.
All right, sounds good. Andrew Nieder for Team Watson Racing brings it home second. And now we're going to drag in your race winner, Sean Kaltenbach. Sean, you got a copy?
Yes, I do.
All right, well, I think last time I was talking to you was towards the end of that Bristol race, man. I thought you had it in the bag, but tonight you do have it in the bag. You get the win off the bumper. Your teammate, how's it feel?
That was awesome teamwork. I finally got the monkey off my back. So I had good cars most weeks, and it just wasn't getting the results to show for it, and finally got a chance to show it this time.
Well, not only was it just a plate track tonight, we heard Andrew telling us how good you were building these setups for these tracks and how good your guys' teamwork was working tonight, but you win the second of the Noble 5 races, so you're going to have a pretty good point scenario going into Charlotte. Does this carry some momentum for there?
Definitely. I mean, just overall, just like I said, I was starting to get down, just like I said, down on my luck, 'cause I've had good cars. I wasn't getting any of the results to show for it. Finally, like I said, I think I've turned the tide here, and hopefully we can start putting together some good runs and getting good finishes to show for it.
All right, we certainly turned the tides tonight with a 1-2, almost 1-2-3 for Team Watson Racing. Before we let you go, is there anyone you want to thank, shout out?
I want to thank Andy and Brian for helping me out. I mean, it was good teamwork there. We kept getting separated, but we ended up finding each other towards the end there and worked pretty good. Almost got a 1-2-3 there, but we're all in the top 5, and that's pretty good, Sean.
Absolutely. All right, well, thanks for talking to us, and congratulations on the win at Talladega.
All right. For sure.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Sean Kaltenbach in the 2. Finishing second tonight was Andrew Nieder. Third, Tyler Marble. Fourth, Brian Curry. Scott Glasser rounding out the top 5. Andrew Kotska from Mad Sim Racing finishes 6th. Brian Watson, 7th. Alan Pajari, 8th. Cody Richardson, 9th. And Jeff Marble rounding out the top 10. Tracy Powers, 11th. Scott Naslin, 12th. Carl Dotson, 13th. Jared Bundy, 14th. Johnny McCallchuck in the 72, 15th. Ryan Haynes, 16th. Jeff Shutt, 17th. Capitol Auto Group, 18th. Austin Fitzgerald. Joshua Watson, 19th. Joe Musso, 20th. Cody Matthews, 21st. Nicholas Isaacs, 22nd. Todd Shiro, 23rd. Jerry Isaacs, 24th. Kyle Oakley, 25th. Jacob Musso, 26th. Jeffrey Souza, 27th. 28th. Glenn Grigsby. Brian Conklin, 29th. Bill Benedict, 30th. 31st. Brett Spot, 32nd. Danny Gutierrez, 33rd. Dave Sanders, and 34th is going to be Corey Mott. Well, heck of a race. Talladega, as we talked about earlier, never disappoints. I'll be excited next time we head to a super speedway. But next week we head to the Monster Mile for not really short track, not really mile and a half racing, kind of something in between. Until then, though, the next place Ghost Racing Network heads tomorrow is going to be the Tuesday Night Thunder for a double points race Last race before the championship at Talladega Superspeedway, and the Xfinity cars going to be a stacked field. We're looking for a good race. I will also be in the College Series race tomorrow. If anybody is bored and hanging around, feel free to come out. That's about all I got. Thank you, everybody that tuned in tonight. It was a fun one, and we will see you next week.